Well, hi. Today is Thursday, September 4th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Was Good Neighbor Day a success yesterday on the 100 block in Council Bluffs? Yeah, I say it might be. When you go through 10,000 roses in an hour, it was a good day. There was a time that the line was a city block long, and everybody there having a great time. We saw a steady stream of folks walking by with a dozen roses, and a lot more folks getting a single rose from those people, because we know that everyone was handing them out all across the metro and across the region yesterday. What a wonderful thing that is put on by the good folks at Bloomworks. Lisa Roth and her team, they had it all put together. And if you haven't seen it yet, we did a live webcast. We were on for a little over an hour yesterday before they ran out of flowers, and you can go back and watch that. It's right here where you're watching this show. Coming up today, we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on at Westfair, because a big renovation is planned. Fundraising is going on right now. It's in the large donation stages, and we're going to talk with Connie Casson, who is a big supporter of everything going on at Westfair. She and the team, the Friends of Westfair, have been doing incredible work and putting the plan together. So all of that is coming up on today's show. Connie Casson here on Morning Coffee. If you're looking for a great laid-back spot, great food, and even better company, is the Mile Away north of Council Bluffs on Old Lincoln Highway. What better place to watch the Iowa State game than the Mile Away? They've got specials going on. I think I saw pulled pork tacos. How about that? Drink specials. They're going to be having a big celebration going on out at the Mile Away this Saturday. Game kicks at 11. We hope to see you there. Perfect place to relax and enjoy good times. It's the Mile Away, where great food and great people come together. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. Fast, reliable service, expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. And fall is coming, and it will be sooner than you think that you'll be turning that furnace back on. So why not get it checked with AirServe Heating and Air Conditioning in Council Bluffs? AirServeCouncilBluffs.com, WaldsteinPlumbing.com. When integrity matters, and when doesn't it? These are the guys that you want to get a hold of. And technology should work for you, not against you. At ThinkSpace IT, they provide expert IT solutions to keep your business running smoothly and securely. From cybersecurity and cloud services to network management and tech support, they simplify IT so you can focus on what matters most. Stay protected, stay connected, stay ahead. Visit ThinkSpaceIT.com. Well, as we mentioned, there is a big plan in place to bring Westfair back into the forefront and be a destination site for, I would say, not just Council Bluffs, but all of Pottawatomie County, and maybe even a little bit wider. And in to tell us more is Connie Casson with Friends of Westfair. I know you guys have been busy, Connie. I know, getting out there and talking with folks. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that you've seen the results from that, right?
We have. We're really excited about where we are right now. So I'm part of the Friends of Westfair Capital Campaign Committee. We work with the Fair Board on this capital campaign, a project to create the future the past can be proud of at Westfair and really bring it into the modern era. Westfair was built in 1974, and like many 50-year-old things, it needs some loving. And so 2 years ago, we really started in earnest in creating a vision for what the next phase of Westfair could be. And we have created a 3-phase plan where we would upgrade first the infrastructure and some of the education buildings on the fairground side of things. Phase 2, or as we're starting to call it, phase 1.5, is to update the amphitheater. The amphitheater is 30 years old. And so I saw the No Doubt show there in, I think, 1998. I know it's a place that lots of people share good memories. And even the Chapel Roan show last year was so fun. And it's a 30-year-old facility. It needs some loving. Our phase 3 is to update the arena. So That's what we have in mind. And we have a $12 million goal for phase one, again, for the infrastructure and the education and expo building.
I'm assuming that when you saw No Doubt, the first thing that ran through your mind was, man, I got to introduce that woman to Blake Shelton.
I did not see that one coming. She seemed pretty happy where she was. She was rocking in a spider web at that point. So,
but you bring up just the No Doubt concert. There's been huge acts out there over the years, and the amphitheater has served its purpose very, very well. But at the same time, there has been hurdles that people have had to overcome, such as, I know parking's a big part of it, traffic coming in and out of it. And it's not just with that, but with any event that's out there. And all of these things have been taken into consideration. I want to walk you back a little bit here, Connie, to when you first started putting all of this together. And I'm guessing there was a needs analysis.
That's right.
At the very beginning, before you ever started with the capital campaign. How far did you anticipate it going back then? Because to me, that would be a giant rabbit hole with no end when you start saying, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this.
It's a long story that I'll try to make short and interesting.
Okay.
But there's an important chapter in the Westfair story that happened in 2018. So the Fair Board had an opportunity to add a new building in 2018 and realized then that they didn't have enough power to add it to the grid. So after COVID, it was somebody had to do something about that. And a group of us started to meet in the basement of American National Bank to talk about it. And we did get that needs analysis from especially the power and water perspective. And then one of the things that our committee did at the very beginning was to talk to others who had done it. So we talked to Jeremy Parsons, who had been at the Clay County Fair.
Biggest one in Iowa. I mean,
Biggest one in Iowa, and a role model for us in lots of ways.
I've been to that fair so many times I've lost count how many, because I grew up in Northwest Iowa. Okay. So, it's kind of, it is kind of the gold standard. And when you look at what a fair can be, as far as county fairs go, I think that, they are a great one to emulate. So I'm sure that had to have been right at the top of your list. Let's get a hold of these guys.
That's right. And they are an exemplary fair if you go that angle, but it's also a community amenity that they use for 30 weeks of summer. It's not just the concerts during fair, but they have lots of events. It's a real community hub, and there's lots of communities that belong at Westfair that could benefit from updated facilities. And so we learned from Clay County, we learned from the Iowa State Fair, we talked to the Nebraska State Fair folks and Dakota Event Center, and then worked the network of people who know others or have cousins on fair boards, just to hear, are they keeping things together with baling wire and chewing gum like we are, or do they have, an endowment? Have they done capital campaigns? We talked to, I don't even know how many people, to understand what the landscape looked like, what does success look like? And that led us to do a feasibility study. And we talked to a number of experts around Council Bluffs amenities and fairs. We surveyed almost 300 people, split between county fair goers and concert goers. And we did a landscape scan of, from a national perspective, what was happening with fairgrounds and those third spaces around the country, especially with outdoor connections or an agricultural connection like our facility has.
It sounds like fairly quickly into this process, you realize that, hey, this can be way more than what we have used it for. Because if you're making calls up to Spencer for Clay County, or you're calling Des Moines for the Iowa State Fair, or now into Grand Island for the Nebraska, if you're making those calls, then that's high. That's okay. We see what this can be, and why should we settle? You weren't calling Franklin County. You weren't calling Clayton County. The smaller county fairs. And again, I'm not dissing those places, because I've been to both of those fairs, but and they were fun. But this with its proximity right off of Highway 6, with the view that, I mean, this is one of the best views of anywhere in the area, and not looking west. You're, you know what I mean? So this is a tremendous location, and it sounds like just right away you said, okay, let's just raise the bar completely on this, because if we're going to be raising money, let's go ahead and get it done.
Well, and you bring up a couple things that I think are really important. One is we did talk to other fairs, and we talked to we talked to facilities that are bigger than fairs, so we could understand like what's the like agricultural and county fair connection and what else is possible given 80 acres of green space 2 miles off of I-80, with 50 years of legacy of people going there. I think the other thing that we balanced in our planning is the personal connection that I have, and many of our, almost everybody around the table has. Like, I grew up going there as my favorite week of the summer. I grew up on a farm. Like, this was my only chance during the summer to run around and to like have some independence, in a place that was safe and surrounded by a community that I still love to be a part of. It's been one of the great joys of this project for me is to, work on a civic project with these people who were my running around partners when I was a youngster. And we've all grown up to have real skills, and we're getting some good stuff done.
So, as you said, realizing with the different phases and the different things that you wanted to accomplish, all of this doesn't just take money. It takes a lot of money. And you had to start presenting this to different organizations. So where did that process start? I mean, because somebody had to be the first one through. So how did that work?
The first one's a great story. So I'm not alone, but I'd been talking about this project of like, hey, I'm starting to get involved in Westfair. We've got a capital campaign that we're starting. And a family friend works at Lozier Corporation. They have like a community granting program. And she encouraged me to complete an application. And it was one of those 11th hours, like I couldn't get the application in the portal. I had to make a phone call, all the steps felt frantic at the end, but we received an investment of $7,000. And that was our first money in the door. We got to be in a video. Like, I got to go to an award ceremony and meet all these other great people who were other recipients, other nonprofits around the area. But that was our first money in the door. The supervisors were open to a pitch from us, and they made an investment. And the breakthrough one has been the Iowa West Foundation. In January of 25, we announced a $2.5 million investment from Iowa West. And we have a long history with Iowa West. So their stewardship and leadership of making this investment in Westfair I can't even talk about like how much it has meant to the campaign, but also just how they've helped us make connections that we wouldn't have made on our own. I'm not a professional fundraiser. I just love this place and we have a good team to work on this. So the community foundation was behind them, and they've made a multi-year pledge, and they're also the host of our endowment. So we know, like, as a nonprofit that has a significant facility, we have significant capital reserve needs. We'll need money to maintain this thing, and the community foundation's been a phenomenal partner. We've also received like foundation grants from the Farm Credit Services of America. And during Westfair 25, we announced $1 million investment from the Jim and Sherry Baldonado family. So they've been big benefactors in Nebraska, but their grandsons show at Fair and are a big part of the Fair community. So that's just a visionary and incredibly generous gift that has enabled us to keep moving on our progress.
What I know about the Iowa West Foundation is they are huge supporters of what they see will grow a community.
That's right.
And they obviously saw that aspect to this because, and again, some of the different things that you have talked about that are going to be coming to Westfair does grow a community, and it does put this area of the entire Midwest. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's a much larger region, puts it right square on the map,
That's right.
and it's the opportunities that are here are really big, and it's not just going to benefit 4-H and FFA and the farm kids, which this is huge. I mean, that for that's got to be the anchor, but it also is it's going to put this part of the world square on the map and make it appealing for some of maybe larger acts at the amphitheater or maybe some larger events going on. It's going to be really appealing to all of that when all of this is finished.
There's I I'm I'm spending so much time on this because I believe the same thing. There's a couple facts that I've heard about the amphitheater that just keep me really motivated. One is talking to a real estate agent and the number of folks who looked at Bent Tree and houses east of Council Bluffs because they had been to the amphitheater and had an experience that was different than what they thought about the rest of Council Bluffs. And I think that that's compounded by at the Chapel Roan show, I took pictures of license plates from I think 14 states. So that event-based tourism is something that is huge for our area. And we have such a great location. And if we can, schedule and promote and execute these events, I think we'll attract a lot of people to our area. And while the amphitheater space feels packed, we have a really unique offering, and that it's twice the size of Stir, and it's twice the size, almost twice the size of the Astro when it's fitted out in their outdoor space. So for acts who are between, filling out Stir but not ready for CHI, or who want a beautiful outdoor space, Westfair and the amphitheater is a perfect fit. And again, the great location. While I know we've got stuff to work on with parking and traffic, we hear that a lot. And we have plans in place to control the number of tickets and to do coordination with the sheriffs and the law enforcement to make sure that when people are on site, it's a great event and that we can get people in and out safely.
I think that you bring up the fact that it can really serve a need. And I also think that, the Astro's fairly new. The Steelhouse is fairly new
Right.
over in Omaha. Stir's been there for a little while. But those filled out. The artists are coming because they're available. And you take a look at some of my favorite groups are already coming to the area because these facilities now exist. So fitting a new need, because as you said, yeah, you can seat more people there. But while at the same time, and this is one of the things I found fascinating at the talk you gave recently that I was at, that it would also be a help to limit how many people can go, because that in itself can ease some of the traffic problems.
That's right.
So if and when you mentioned the number, and then the first thing that went through my mind before you even said it is, oh, those are Red Rock numbers. That's exactly what Red Rocks gets.
That's right.
And Red Rocks, it's you never worry about people wanting to go see a show there because tickets aren't available. So yeah, so I think that if we have it here, and I see it becoming a really popular place for artists to want to go to.
I think so too. And I think we've got, it's been one of the things that I've enjoyed the most about working on this project is to hear people's dreams about how to use the space. So there's things like getting on the rodeo circuit. There's things like hosting club sports tournaments in our buildings and things like that. But going back to having a multi-stage music festival is something that Westfair would be perfect for that. We have camping. We would have space for multiple stages. We've got dressing rooms for, artists to have space to do what they need to do. And we've got enough space for a great guest experience. And we need to, we just need to start to it would be great to do upgrades to our facility, but like we can do that kind of stuff with an upgraded campus.
Well, and you talked about the new event center and air conditioning. Wow, what a novel
Woohoo.
idea! We're slowly moving into the 21st century, but it's the fact that that is there and it could be utilized for so many different activities and events. Now, I have seen what they use the one up in Spencer at the Clay County Fair for, and it's used a lot.
That's right.
It is really used a lot. They even have fairly well-known comedians come in there and play inside of that facility.
Yeah.
So it's can be so much more than what it's been. And I'm a huge supporter. I really think that the timing is right. I think that we need this here. I am at times when I've heard you give presentations and other people talk about it, I've been a little bit in awe of how, well, I didn't think of that. They're thinking of all of the things, you know. So, and I'm sure that there's still more that's going to come up that because it can't be like 100%. We've got it all figured out. I'm sure there's going to be more and more things that present itself as you move along in the process.
It's one of the things where I hate the phrase, if you build it, they will come. I just don't believe in that. But I think there are beautiful things that we couldn't have planned that will come out of an updated Westfair.
What are some of the feedback that you're getting from the young people that are have you heard anything back from them so far that are already there? The current kids that are showing animals there, are they starting to catch wind of this? What are you hearing from them?
They're a super important part of the story. And what I love about what I've heard from when we've talked to young people is they feel like they're a part of this tradition that's so important in our area. Westfair wasn't new when I was a 4-H'er, but I didn't feel like I was a part of something that was a real legacy. And so I think that's really cool. We have a couple things happened during this fair that I thought were really neat. Our county council is made up of 4-H'ers and some parents, and they are the like hybrid organization that makes lots of decisions about how 4-H'ers spend their time and money. And one of the things that they decided to do, like if you've been to Westfair, you've heard about the apple pie baking contest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the hallmark experiences for 4-H'ers at fair. And they donated 10% of their proceeds from the apple pie contest to support the capital campaign. So in that way, they are showing their support. And last year's Westfair Queen was a young lady named Monica Osborne, and Monica spoke on behalf of the capital campaign 4 or 5 times to talk about her vision, like how important Westfair had been to her growing up. And how she hoped for an updated facility to be able to, be an important place to so many young people behind her. So there's, a couple cool experiences we had this year.
Well, I tell you, when the timing could not have been better for a young lady of Monica's caliber to come through and be county fair queen. Because, I mean, you talk about a dynamic speaker. She's it. And I think that the future is very, very bright for that young lady. And I'm hoping that she wants to stay attached to this even as she goes forward and no longer a fair queen and all of that, because she was a huge advocate. And I think she was inspiring emotions in people at that breakfast that I went to, and just that short little talk that she gave.
Absolutely. And this year's fair queen is Kendall Jensen. She's been to a couple of our events. She's a star as well. So those advocates, you don't always get that perspective in young people of like what this means and why it matters to others. But we've had a couple who have really led the way.
I know. Listen, I think you and I are of the same generation. And we have turned into what the generation was ahead of us, complaining about the current generation all the time. Yeah. And I learned, actually it was during COVID when I met a couple of young men who were visiting every incorporated town in the state of Iowa and taking pictures and putting stuff together, that I realized we're just not looking hard enough.
That's right.
Because they're there. Right. They're okay. They're there. And I think that we just need to invest in them. And that's what this is. That's a big part of this is investing in the young people in the area. And trust me, we do that, they're going to come through and they're going to show their appreciation with that. And I'm excited to watch this progress and to hopefully, we can continue to get information out there for you here, just on this platform.
Thank you. Yeah.
And, anytime that you have something coming up or an event coming up or anything like that, you let me know and we'll make sure that it gets out there.
I appreciate it. You've been a tremendous partner, and thanks for hosting John Brocker before Fair, and look forward to joining you again.
All right. She is Connie Casson. And if you have a chance to go see her speak, I would highly recommend it. And let's get behind this and start. Let's get some more of those big donations in. And I know that there's different stages that are on the way, and we're all going to have an opportunity in the future to be able to put our stamp and to be able to help with this. So,
and Westfair.org is our website, and
just
we're
like that
on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. So we're pumping out information pretty regularly. And would love to, engage people in conversation. Happy to talk about, answer any other questions or talk about investment opportunities in Westfair.
Connie, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Todd.
More updates from what's happening at Westfair are going to be on the way in the coming weeks and months. So we're looking forward to all of the work that's happening there. Can you imagine having a facility like that? What Connie's talking about right here in our backyard. It's going to be great. Attention developers, engineers, and tech innovators. Mark your calendars for AIM Institute's Heartland Developers Conference, September 30th and October 1st at Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs. For over 15 years, Heartland Developers Conference has been the go-to event for Silicon Prairie developers. Keynote speakers, deep dive breakout sessions, an exhibitor hall, hands-on demos, and invaluable networking opportunities. hdc.aiminstitute.org is the website to get registered. Let your career take off. Do you or does someone you love need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place is critical for many people, and Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. Their website, hcan.com/Southwest Iowa. And S&B Country Kennel, the top spot in Southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Ran into Joe Huntoon of S&B Country Kennel yesterday at Good Neighbor Day, and he said he's got a really big announcement to make, so we need to get a hold of him and get him back on the show. How about that? S&B Country Kennel is located south of Council Bluffs. You travel south on I-29, get off the Bungie Avenue exit, and then head back to the west. You'll see the sign there. Wonderful facility. sbcountrykennel.com is their website. Wrapping things up for today. Thank you so much for being a part of things. I'm out the door and headed over to the Council Bluffs Business Connection Group. And if you would like to learn more about this organization, send me an email, and toddstuder@gmail.com is my email address. And we'd love to have you and your business come visit CBBC. Wrapping things up for today. Thank you so much. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.